Welcome to another episode of Disability and Assistive Technology Today. Join Jeremy Murray, Kristy Edwards, and I while we discuss disability, assistive technology, apps, news, and reviews, picked fresh from the Google Plus community.
Hello everyone, welcome to the 9th episode of the DATT show. This week we are going to discuss actually some really old top 6 stories of the DATT community because we had some trouble scheduling this episode. One thing you might notice a little different about this show is we're missing a co-host, and that is because Andrew has taken a well-deserved vacation. He will be back for the next episode. Anyway, we, like always, have the IRC channel up. We're both in there, willing to chat with anyone that wants to talk to us live. Or if you can leave a comment in the events section of the webpage, one of us will get back to you there. Without further ado, let's get on with the show, and feel free to participate. I'm covering the first story, and the story is Microsoft empowers a man to overcome his disability with the Surface Pro and Xbox One. The story was shared by Andrew Daley. Go figure, he's not here. So basically, this story was about this man from living in Washington, D.C., who is paralyzed, I believe, from the chest down. I'm not 100% sure on that. And he still lives a very productive life, contributing in things such as fantasy baseball and work, just like any normal person might. I really hate that word normal, but whatever, it's used. And he contributes to a society and has a normal life by the Microsoft technology being the Surface Pro and the Xbox One. He uses the Surface Pro to do like Excel and Internet Explorer and things like that, to surf the web and chat with friends. He also uses Skype, which is of course now a Microsoft product, to communicate with friends and family and co-workers. And he uses Connect for voice commands to surf like Netflix and things like that to allow for more freedom of control. The reason we chose the story is because, it's always great to see these widely used products be used for something for assistive technology. I personally don't own an Xbox. The last Xbox I owned was the original one. Didn't have the Kinect. But seeing how you can, now start to control these products with your voice, it's just amazing to see. With that being said, though, I believe since this story was posted, the Microsoft has decided to stop selling the Kinect with the Xbox Ones, so you have to pay an extra charge for it. And they may possibly stop selling it altogether. They're still undecided on that, which is sad to see because you're losing that innovation that this guy has used to, control his life. With you being a big gamer, Kristy, what are your thoughts on using this gaming technology and/or, a tablet to kind of have a normal life?
On having a normal life? Well,
as normal as it could be, because there is really no such thing as normal. We all know that.
Yeah. I suppose you can say more fitted in or something with the society. Not that they were not fit in the first place, but I've used Connect before, And I have an Xbox 360 with the Kinect, and that was the first line of Kinect that came out, right? And I don't think it wasn't until the Xbox One came out that started using the Kinect for accessibility. Like the idea around it didn't really start coming until the Xbox One came out.
I believe
Or is it before that?
you could do voice commands with the 360, but it was very, very limited.
Yeah, it's very the voice command is, I haven't used the voice command before, but it's very in the infant stages, like baby stages.
Yeah, they really improved it with the Xbox One, though, which a lot of people were glad to see. Even people
Yeah.
who didn't need to use it for accessibility reasons, they were glad to see the improvement.
Yeah, yes, for sure. And not only, I use an iPad connected to the Xbox 360 to play a video game, and Jeremy tried that out at my apartment, and we thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see the connection. Sorry for cutting you off there, Kristy. It's great to see the connection between the platforms, I guess you could say. And it's great to see people finding new innovative ways to use these products that originally weren't for, this type of use. They were designed for video games. And
Yeah.
me and Kristy both being very big video game players, we know what this stuff can do, and at least I'm glad to see it find a new use. I don't know about you, Kristy.
Also, it's not just for video games only. It can be for many other things like watching
Yeah,
movies
but
and
its
surfing the internet,
primary
right?
use was to, originally, the primary use of the Kinect was to get people active and up and going, and that's why they've kind of discontinued the Kinect in the bundle, because they were finding that people weren't using it. Oh, that stupid lawnmower. Sorry
I'm
about the
sorry,
loud
there's,
noise, people.
yeah, they're landscaping outside.
Yeah, it's out of our control. We live on a campus. But I'm glad to, it's sad to see that they're kind of shutting down that innovation in
Yeah,
a way,
really.
because it's not widely accessible anymore. I mean, you could pay for the the Kinect as long as they continue to sell it. But I'm worried, and this is me thinking in the big picture, I'm worried that eventually it's going to stop being sold, which is going to cause a big problem for this innovation and things like that.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'll be sad to see it go.
I think we all will. But do you see any comments on the event there about the story, Kristy?
Which comments?
Is there anyone posting anything on the event about the story, or should we move on to the next story in the page? This is really awkward. Let's move on to the next story.
Alrighty. Well, then next story number 2 was posted again by Andrew Daley, who is still not here. Anyway, it's about researchers at Georgia Tech who are known for making high-tech gloves, and they created something for Braille. They created a high-tech glove for Braille. And the main goal for this is just to learn Braille even when you're distracted. So like when you're doing something else, you can learn to do Braille at the same time, which is pretty cool. And what they did is that each pair of the glove have a vibration point on each of the knuckles. And so they just kind of sit on there doing this thing there, and what it does for different phrases of Braille, is that they will buzz or whatever the phrases are. And the Georgia Tech researcher asked volunteers to play a game for 30 minutes while wearing the glove and see how well they learn while being just distracted. And it turned out that a lot of volunteers have great results coming from it, and they were able to remember the phrases.
Well, not completely remember. They mostly got the correct, but there were some phrases that they got wrong.
Well, mostly accurate.
Some people got perfect scores, but very few, they said.
Yeah. And even the subject who never learned Braille before, and they were able to learn it pretty quickly. And so I think the reason behind this glove is that it helps for blind people, and not only just blind people, for anyone who wants to learn Braille in a quicker fashion.
The one thing the article did say is they felt that this could be used for people who become visually impaired at a much older age and wouldn't have the years to learn Braille that it would normally take. I must say, though, when I read this story, as me and Kristy both have read it, I was very skeptical on the results of the research, simply because in my university career, I guess you could call it, I've taken a few psychology courses, and we've learned about the brain and how the brain works, receives information, and stores the information, of course. And it is well documented that you might be able to store that information in your short term and be able to remember it for a period of time after you're distracted. But your brain can only really focus on a limited amount of things and for a limited amount of time. So what I'd be curious to see, and I'm sure somebody will do a study about this in the future. It might take a few years, but I'm sure it will be done. I would like to see, somebody use these gloves and then, while being distracted, and then a couple years later, come back, use the gloves for an extended time, of course, but be distracted in parts of it while trying to learn Braille, and then come back a couple years later and see if they remember, or even a couple months later, or a week later, just to give a break for the brain to kind of forget it, to see how well they really do remember the Braille.
Then again, it's a very new thing, right? There still needs a lot of development needed.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm just saying, once it's available and the research has been done from their side, I'd like to see how reliable the research really is, because research is only usable as long as you can reproduce the exact results time and time again. So I'd like to see if you can actually reproduce the results over an extended period of time before I would really trust a technology like this. Do you have any more to add, Kristy?
No.
Well, this show is moving really fast. I guess we'll move on to the next story. This next story was posted by 1-800-Wheelchair, and I believe another person, but I didn't catch the name, and I couldn't find it when I went back looking for it, because there were two different links for it. The story is the FDA clears ReWalk exoskeleton. As I said before, it was shared by 1-800-Wheelchair. Both these stories were about the FDA finally clearing the use for this one exoskeleton to be used for people who are paraplegic. to possibly be able to walk with the use of an exoskeleton. And from what I could read, it's not commercially cleared yet. It's only cleared for rehab use. But it's a step in the direction that it needs to go. And of course, when I read this, being a wheelchair user, I was very excited because who knows, maybe in the next I'm going to say 5 to 10 years, because that's probably how long it's going to take for these things to become commercially available. People who aren't paraplegic, sometimes like some quadriplegic people, may be able to use these exoskeletons to then be able to walk even just short distances to kind of have, that experience for people that have never had it, or people that have become paralyzed due to some sort of accident. And I'm very excited to see what the future will hold for these devices, I guess you'd call them, extensions of the body, because, I'd like to someday be able to experience walking, and I feel like, well, I shouldn't say that, I've walked before, but I'd like to experience it on a grander scale. And I feel like this is the next logical step for people who want to experience the sensation of walking. And I feel like that it will open so many doors for people who are in wheelchairs and have never had the opportunity to experience walking, or have had the opportunity and lost it due to some reason or injury. So I think in time this will prove to be a great benefit, and I hope that in the coming years, months, whatever, we start to hear more information about stuff like this. Yeah, I'm just all around excited about it, and I'm just waiting to see. I think it's going to be wonderful. Pretty soon we're going to see people walking around New York City in exoskeletons. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure, Jeremy. And it just says here that there has been a British woman named Claire Lomas who walked the London Marathon using the exoskeleton.
Yeah, I mean they're not finished yet. They're not a finished product. Like you can't run yet in them, to my knowledge. Wow. But in the coming years, who knows? Maybe it will just be like a set of legs, and we'll be able to do everything that somebody else can.
Yeah.
Someday we'll have like cybernetic sports or something with people that use exoskeletons. Yeah. It's crazy to think about. And it's kind of abstract now, but the way technology's growing, you never know where we're going to end up. And I'm just all around excited to see where it's going to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe the next story is yours, Kristy.
Alrighty. Next story is, it was posted by Tom Snyder, and it's about the next operating system of Android called Android L. And he posted an article about that Android L is going to include new display modes for the colorblind people. And they're developing a new accessibility in Android L, and that has different color modes. And there's right now there's 6 settings for different types of color blindness. And
does it say what
cool.
Settings there are there in the story? I can't remember.
Is there what?
Does it say what settings are available in the...
Oh yeah, I got it right here.
Okay, because I can't remember what they were.
Gee, that's some big words here. Determinality mean red, green. Potenality. Oh my goodness, these are big words. Red, green as well. And trigonomality, blue, yellow. and determined will be a green, and potent will be a red, and trit will be a blue.
Okay. Yeah, sorry for
So there's
making you
different
read all those
ones.
annoying and long-winded scientific names.
Yeah.
I mean, this is great to see. Simply because Android has had accessibility on their minds, but
Yeah.
it's never really been quite as easy or user-friendly as Apple's, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
So there's some developments needed.
Yeah, as somebody who's used both products and enjoyed using both products in the past,
Yeah.
um, and I'm just glad to see the advancements of Android in this market. I just hope they start to create more and easier accessible like actual apps for Android. Um, but with this new Android version coming out and them including the uh, new colorblind features, it's a step in the right direction. And I think in the coming years, you're going to start seeing Android grow a lot more in this market because they have such a wide range of people using Android already. I mean, they have something like 82% of the market share worldwide of smartphone usage, or smartphones in the world. It's 82% or something like that, which is a ridiculous number considering how big a company like Apple is. I'm just waiting to see them improve on all kinds of different features in the accessibility market. I think if they do that, they'll make a major killing, and this is a step in the right direction.
That's for sure.
I mean, just a couple weeks ago, me and Kristy were in a phone call conversation with an individual who is part of a company who develops apps, which we have a couple reviews coming up for. It's going to be all one review, but there's two apps. And they focus on iOS because Android's focus on accessibility is, I don't want to say bad because it's not. It's just minimal compared to iOS.
Yeah. They started out with the Android, and then they saw how big of a market that Apple or iOS had, so they switched over to that so it could be more widely available to people.
Even though the numbers state that more people have Android worldwide, they just felt that it was easier for people to access their stuff on the Apple devices,
Yeah.
so they switched to Android. I believe is how he explained it to us, or switched from Android to the iOS devices, which is sad to see because I know there are tons of people in our community and around the world that use Android, and they're always asking us, "What about Android? What about Android?" And that's just kind of how it happens. Is it's just easier for people to make their stuff on iOS accessible. I believe we're on the next story.
Next story is doing the next story as well. It's posted by Jack Kane, and it's about the YouTube's new creators tools. And I don't know if you have noticed, but YouTube changed their tools, and instead of having a bunch of tabs or buttons where you have to, uh, it was a little messy. I'll be honest. So they created a creator studio, which means it's everything on that you need to edit in one little spot. And they added more tools to that specific creator studio as well. So it's now there's also an app as well, the YouTube Creator Studio. It's also an app available on Android at the moment, but it'll be coming soon to iOS. And the Creator Studio app will give creators the ability to view analytics, manage the videos and other stuff. And it will have an audio library of sound effects, meaning that you don't have to download royalty-free music anymore. You still can if you still wanted to, but YouTube added that option to you for you, so you can add different sound effects to your videos if you like to. And they introduced the 60 frame per second video. That's coming soon. So they'll be able to share videos at 60 frames per second for people who care about that sort of thing. And they open up a thing called fan funding, so that people can donate to creators to help creating their videos, like a Kickstarter type of thing.
Which I don't trust, by the way. I don't trust the fan funding thing through YouTube.
Well, it's a new thing, right? And we'll see how it goes. Creator credits. So, because everybody on YouTube is collaborating with everybody else, YouTube is now enabling collaborators to name and link their fellow collaborators in a way that viewers might actually click through. Another coming soon feature. And here's an accessibility related thing. It's called fan submitted subtitles.
Yeah, this was the thing that I was really intrigued by when I added this story to the lineup.
Yeah. I just thought to tell everything that's in this tool.
I would have too.
Yeah. So this means that if the viewers don't speak the same language, the other people can subtitle it for other people with different languages to be able to view the video, which is pretty cool. It allows open up that option of making the video more worldwide.
But it also allows, and this is where it kind of comes in handy for people who need it for accessibility. As we all know, or anybody that uses YouTube, the YouTube created subtitles suck.
Yeah.
They're horrible.
No, it's Google. It's actually Google Translation or whatever it is.
Well, I'm just thinking even the English ones suck because they're really, it has trouble understanding people, I guess you could say. Because of accents and everything like that. Especially
it had a hard time detecting accents on people, so they think they're saying a different word, but they're not. Exactly.
So what I feel this is going to help with, and it will help with us too if anyone feels like doing it, is it'll allow people who are into, the accessibility market or just people in general to subtitle the videos to allow people who are hard of hearing to view the videos and still get the same enjoyment out of them, which is great. I hope this kind of picks up, and I'll be, really excited to see it.
Well, I'm also hoping that the Google will improve the translation, because I still think it's a good idea. It's just that it sucks at the moment.
See, I think sorry cutting you off. I think they created this to kind of get rid of the usage of their translation for this feature. They created it so other users could do the translation for them, so they didn't have to tax their systems with it.
Right.
And it'd be more accurate, hopefully, because you would have responsible viewers doing it, not trollers. As we both know, YouTube's famous for the trollers.
Another thing I would be kind of worried about is that about spelling and grammar and all that about other languages.
Well, I believe after doing some extra research, because I watched some other podcasts and stuff, and they've talked about this new software or feature coming to YouTube. The subtitles submitted will be curated. It'll be up to the person who's in charge of the video which one they use. So they would keep an eye out for the spelling or the trollers or whatever. So as far as I know, it will be curated. It's not just you submit one subtitle and then that's the only one that gets used. If you get like 4 or 5 submitted, it's really curated. as to which one can be used for which language or whatever, right?
Okay, so you have like a couple options then if more than one band submitted.
Yeah, as far as I have read into it, yeah, that's
Okay,
what's.
yeah. I suppose I can clear up a few, spelling mistakes and grammars and stuff like that. Because I know there's people out there that text them. It's just a little pet peeve type of thing.
Yeah, no, there definitely is.
Yeah.
And like I said, there are tons of YouTube trollers. They had gotten rid of them when they switched everything to Google Plus only, but they've since changed their mind, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a bad idea, but whatever.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Um, Anything else you want to add to the story, Kristy?
There's two more things to the Creator Studio.
Okay, what are they?
One is moving from annotations to cars, which I'm not super familiar where they're getting at. Apparently, YouTube wants to improve the way it displays links on video, so it will be at some point replace annotations with cars, which will work across desktop, mobile phones, and tablets.
Oh yeah, because the annotations right now are very blocky and they kind of get in the way of the videos.
Yeah, like it just blocks of them in the video, and I guess I don't know what they mean by cards.
Yeah, it's gonna be a wait and see game, I think.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what the visual look is because how easy are they gonna be able to read them? Some of the annotations now are more difficult to read, and it's all by creator's choice, really, because you can change the colors and everything. But a lot of the annotations right now are really hard to read if you have any sort of vision impairment.
I think another thing that would be really a good idea, like you said, that the creator is the only one that can change the colors. What if the users are able to change the colors themselves?
Yeah, for their individual viewing experience. I would agree with that.
Yeah, sure. I think that would be a little bit better for the viewers.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. As a YouTube creator myself, yeah, for sure. I think they're gonna lean more on the fans more now than ever.
Oh yeah, for sure. And another one is more ways to playlist. So YouTube will soon give creators more creative ways to create playlists to make their videos more easily discoverable. So I'm guessing it's more making more user friendly.
Yeah, I would say so as well.
I'm curious to see how that works out.
I'm curious again to see how it's going to affect the accessibility of it.
Yeah.
Right now, in my opinion, the playlist system's pretty easy to use for people who have.
It is. Like I don't find it that hard, but it might be for other people that maybe it's one of the people wanted YouTube to work on because they seem like they're reaching out to fans now.
Yeah, which is good to see. Also for the accessibility market, because as we've talked about in this show before, it's like open source, and open source is great for accessibility needs. So I'm glad to see more people and more places opening up the idea of open source, even if it is someplace like YouTube, or you wouldn't really think about it all that much.
Yep. Well, anything else you want to add, Jamie?
No, I think that would be it for the story.
Well, thank you, Jeff Kane, for sharing.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jeff Kang. The next story I'm covering, it's a story entitled "A Medical First: Quadriplegic Man Controls Arm Using Chip Implanted in His Brain," which is really scary to think about, but it's not that bad, trust me. And this was shared by Blue Badge Mobility Insurance. They seem to be fairly new to our community, so I'm glad to see some new faces around the community and hope they continue to share. So basically, the story was about the group of researchers, and I cannot remember who did it. I want to say MIT, but I don't think it was. I think it was like Cambridge or something. But to avoid getting it wrong, I'm not going to say for sure. But a group of researchers who designed this chip that they implanted into this 23-year-old guy who's quadriplegic. And with this chip hooked into this computer, it was able to transmit electrical impulses to his brain, so he'd be able to open his hand and be able to like open and close his hand, which is something that he hadn't done in a while, like a long time. Like he'd been in a chair for, quite a while. He did said since he was 15 or something.
4 years.
4 years. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 19 then. And I mean, things like this, yes, they seem crazy and way out of reach, but really they're not that far away. And yeah, right now it needs to be plugged into a computer, and it's not widely usable because you need to be near a computer. And the idea, of course, people are going to start thinking, well, if you start implanting chips in your brain, then you're going to open yourself up to being, like, hacked or things going wrong and malfunctioning.
Yeah, that'd be worrisome.
Yeah, but gotta keep in mind that this is it's in its infancy stages for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
For sure. They said it would probably be 10 to 15 years before it's in a small form factor and open to more people. By that time, it's hard to say what it will be. I'm hoping that they will continue this project, and eventually it will become such a small form factor that you wouldn't need to be attached to a computer. It could be like, I could almost see it being like, as crazy as this is, like to your cell phone or something like that, or even just like a little mini computer in your brain, which is really creepy to think about. And it's a great sci-fi story, so if there are any writers out there, there's an idea for you. But just seeing the innovation in the technology that's being used for this to allow this one individual to experience movement in his hands yet again after losing it, it's great. I just love seeing stories like this. Like I said, I hope it continues, and it'll be a while before it becomes widely available, of course, because it's fairly new technology, and they don't know how they're going to shrink it. But I think as people start to, as this starts to shrink and they start to figure out more ways to make it more accurate and things like that, it'll become available, and we'll see more people using things like this to regain mobility, which is just awesome.
Yeah, that's for sure. It says it's called neural bridge, right?
Yeah.
So basically, it's an electronic neural system that bypasses spinal cord injuries to transmit instruction directly from the brain to the muscles. So it's much like a heart bypass, but instead of bypassing blood, they're actually bypassing electrical signals.
Basically, what they're doing is they're creating a whole new electrical network for a nervous system to allow access to the muscles to be able to use them again.
That's pretty cool.
It is wicked, and there's been research in this area before, but this is as close that anyone's really gotten, and it's started to be widely known. And like I said, I can't wait to see what comes of it.
It's really good that seeing people or researchers taking advantage of using microchip in the brain, because it's not first time using a microchip of some sort in brain. Could people use that in their pets, right? In case they lose them.
Yeah,
to be able
but this is a little more advanced, of course. But
oh yeah, definitely much more advanced. I'm just happy to see taking people more advantage of what's out there, right? And develop it even more.
I think this idea is kind of building off the Arduinos that people were starting to use. Just this idea of using these chips that you would think would be in a computer to then do other things to run other things, even to run your body, as we're seeing now. It's insane, but it's a welcome insanity.
Yeah. Here's that lawnmower again.
Yeah, that freaking lawnmower. Again, sorry for the loud noises, guys. It's out of our control, unfortunately.
Yeah, so that's a pretty cool story. I'm glad to see something like this out there now.
Oh yeah, it's amazing to see, and it's a wait and see game, of course, because something could happen and it could close down, but hopefully not. I guess we'll see in about 10 years whether it's still going or not. And as always, guys, continue to share. If you find more stories about stuff like this, we're very open and very intrigued by this stuff, as is everybody else in the community. Get more discussions going, talk about this stuff, and we're all very like-minded, and this stuff's awesome to see. I just want this to continue. Anyway, anything else you wanted to add, Kristy?
No, I think you did. You nailed it.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for today's show. Our next show, I know we've been sporadic in the creation of these shows. We are trying to get a more solid schedule. Things have been insane for us these last months, with school and work and summer vacation and all that. So I believe our next plan for a show is 2 weeks from now. It sounds about right.
Two or three, 2 weeks, yeah.
We'll say 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because Andrew should be back by then, and all three of us will be here, and it will be a much more lively show.
That's for sure.
Yeah. And as always, if you have any questions or topic suggestions you can post to the community. If you have any questions and you want to speak to either me or Andrew, you can email it, or Kristy. You can email us at dattshow@gmail.com. That's DATT show@gmail.com. Or you can visit us on at www.datt.tv. On there's a little contact form, or you can reach us on the IRC channel that's on that site, up at the very top. I'm Jeremy Murray, and that is Kristy Edwards. So we'll see you next time. Hope you enjoyed.
Yep.